All right, welcome to the podcast.
Yes.
Let's introduce ourselves first because we don't know who's gonna get which part. So we are who, Chris?
We are from Norwich. We do Airsoft. This is Joseph. I'm Chris, and we're here with the guys from Polina Tactical.
Hey guys! Who are you guys?
Yeah.
Who are you guys and what do you do?
So we are a YouTube channel and we are a company. We do primarily, if we talk like very officially, firearm media production. We also have a web store and soon to be a brick and mortar store. We do tactical equipment. We actually design a couple of actual accessories for real guns, and we sell a lot of stuff.
Clothes, tactical equipment,
Yeah.
as you said.
Some of you maybe know, some of you don't. We have the biggest gun channel in Europe. We do a lot of funny videos. We do some instructional videos, like everything.
Oh,
We have
I
fun.
think what's the funniest or what's the most viewed videos of yours? Is it the guy shooting the AK like this over the head?
Yeah, it's the shit you see on the range.
The shit you see on the
That
I
was
know
our
that one.
first real viral video, and also that's the one that put us, somewhere in the area of gun tubers. Like a lot of people know us just from that video, even people that don't follow us. So, yeah, I think that was the breakthrough, right?
Yes, I think so too. Yeah.
And how long have you been shooting guns?
Okay, I will not calculate, but from when I was 15, from that point on, like my father is a war veteran of the Slovenian Independence War, and he saw that I had interest in guns, and of course, like a good father, he always like cultivated this. I had a chance to shoot with real guns when I was quite young, and just like from that point on, it just developed. When I was 18, I actually got the firearm license first before my driver's license.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Some context for the viewer. The reason why this whole thing is happening, or this podcast is happening, is because Polina Tactical was visiting us in Vienna, and they actually today, this is right after the first Airsoft game in a long time, right? You didn't play Airsoft since, 10 years or something?
Yeah, like I started with Airsoft before real guns, of course, because there are limitations. We're not 18 yet, you don't have access to guns. So I started with Airsoft. When we did Airsoft, it was different. It was quite different as we found out today. But yeah, I had some experience with it still. When we came today there to the field, it was just everything was new. My adrenaline went up. I kind of knew what to expect, but it just like it was really fun. It was wild, right?
We were.
I guess.
You were scared yesterday.
It was my first, I guess, Airsoft game in 10 years. 10 years ago, we went on an Airsoft game.
One game, yeah.
One game in the forest, more or less. I was just dying and walking back to the respawn, and it was really far away, so all I did was just walking around. But so this was my first like real game that I was not just dying. I was mostly dying, but
mostly. The thing is, like, yesterday we did a video where we compared real guns to Airsoft, and our cameraman wanted to try it out, like how powerful these are, and I shot him in the leg at 10 meters, and the damage that it done, like, it scared me and it scared Manza. Like, she was really nervous, and I was also like, how powerful is this? Like, is this even safe? But it was okay. It was okay.
It was just an unfortunate shot.
Oh yeah, like I hit him at
in a vein.
Yeah,
You hit it exactly
in the blood
wrong-
vessel. Yeah,
in the blood vessel, and also he had the clothes like tight. If it's like kind of loose, then it absorbs the BB impact, and you mostly don't even feel it. But if it's like really tight, like this G now, then it goes.
But when I saw that yesterday, I was like, what the fuck am I doing tomorrow?
But it wasn't too bad, right?
No, not at all.
But that's good actually for you guys, because you do want a certain amount of adrenaline for your training, so being afraid of it is probably beneficial, right?
It made a big difference because it changed our plans, because first we were looking at this like, I don't know, kind of paintball, airsoft, whatever, like we wanted to just like rush in and like run and shoot and do whatever, and then that thing yesterday changed our perspective and said like, okay, let's first start slow. Let's check out the field. Let's see, how people play, and then
Which,
we'll do
I mean,
thing.
in the end, that's talking about real steel scenarios. You also wouldn't just rush and kind of
Exactly.
go like Rambo, like ba 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 ba.
That's
It
true.
wouldn't work, right?
That's
so
true.
this adds to the realism, in my opinion.
Oh, it does.
There's a little bit of like
It
being
has
scared.
To, it has to hurt, and you have to be a bit afraid, that if someone hits you, it will not be pleasant.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like you could just like peek very quickly and just like you said, run around, shoot people. That makes it different.
Did you guys try laser tag ever?
I did. I actually did.
Because I tried, and for me it was. It sounds funny, but I was missing the pain actually. you just walk around. There's a guy here, and it's like casually just walking through the area. And you don't do this in Airsoft, right? If you hear 5 voices in a room, okay, if I peek, I might get shot by 5 people in the face.
True.
So I think twice.
I only tried laser tag once. Actually, surprisingly, it was super fun.
Yeah.
But like you said, it just
Different
it's
dynamic.
yeah, different. It's fun. You're not afraid. People don't even hide. But what really made it so great for me, because the laser tag guns, you can actually aim, and they're quite accurate. Like I could hit people through like openings in the cover at 50 meters. Like even with the airsoft gun, it's really hard to hit this kind of opening. But if the guy is behind the opening and you can see kind of the sensor, if you aim the sights correctly, I don't know, it shoots out the cone of laser or whatever.
That is the problem actually, because you might say it's accurate because you hit at 50 meters, but it actually like at a certain distance, it's just like a laser this size. So
Because, like,
anything that's in there is just.
Because for me it was like really
I'm so
awesome.
accurate today. Look at me.
I was dominating the field because I was using the sights and just shooting people, but they were just like running around and just doing this, like from the movies. They didn't use the sights.
Yeah.
I was just like killing everyone.
So back to the Airsoft game today.
Yes.
What were your biggest learnings when you compare it to you being on the range for like I don't know how many years already, but this one Airsoft game. How did it change? Did it change your perspective in any way?
Yes and no. I would say the biggest game changer was yesterday. Actually, we were at a shooting range. We brought some airsoft guns. We brought some real guns. Like the aha moment for me was when I tried your SSP-18. So that's like a form factor of Glock.
That's this one. You can
Yeah,
take it as a
it's-
prop. It's not loaded, of course.
It's so sturdy. It's the same size, almost the same weight, if not the same weight as the Glock. And I did some comparisons. The trigger is like a real steel.
Man, and that's the biggest complaint about this pistol, that it's too realistic. Like in Airsoft, people kind of want the mushy, you pull it easily type of
I
trigger.
understand they
and
want probably a fast trigger, like so they
not
can
necessarily
no?
fast, but like light. I
Light,
mean, yeah,
okay.
that's fast. But my idea with this pistol was that it should be realistic, right? I want it to kick nicely, I want it to cycle nicely, and I want the trigger, because for real steel shooters, trigger is really important, right?
So you designed this, or you helped
I
design
was
it?
part of the development.
That was one of my
process.
questions. Like, if the guy that designed this handgun, like, does he own real steel guns? Because I see a lot of inspiration. And why is this such a big moment for me? Because I realized how good of a training aid this could be. Like, okay, yeah, sure, it's an airsoft pistol. You can use it to shoot people, but you can use it for a very effective training at home. It translates almost perfectly to real guns. Only the recoil is not as strong. But as everyone knows, like, the recoil, sure, you have to feel it for some training, but not for every training, just for aiming, for moving around, for manipulations with the gun. So that was, for me, was the biggest game changer. Today, the Airsoft game was really fun, really awesome. We did some cool stuff. A lot of stuff that we tried failed. But essentially, we came here with the proper mindset. We knew that it's not, the same, just like shooting at non-moving targets. Yeah, so that was my experience. What about you, Mansa?
What did I learn today? So I learned that I'm not in a that good of a shape as I thought I was. That's the first thing, because my muscles are so sore.
Yeah.
Yeah, already. The second thing I learned is, well, I don't really understand how to hide and where to hide, and the people are moving and there's a hole you didn't see and they shoot you through there, and that's what I learned.
Yeah.
It was my first game, so basically the first.
And
so.
those are all the things you cannot really train on a 2D range, like the typical real steel shooting range, right?
Definitely.
You have your safety direction. There are a couple of targets, and you just like bam, 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 bam. But all these, like you said, holes and the environment, it changes. Sometimes it's slippery. Sometimes there is a hole. Sometimes there is barbed wire or whatnot.
I would say if you're serious about training tactics, like if you just want to be a shooter, perfect. Be a shooter. You can use some airsoft guns to improve your shooting. But if you're serious about tactics, about tactical shooting, I think airsoft would be one really, really good tool for you to train, because it kind of, it depends on the game, depends on the people playing, depends on the rules, but it's a very good appropriation for force on force. The guns are powerful enough and hurt enough that you have this kind of fear factor, so you don't do stupid shit. Or if you do stupid shit, you quickly learn that it's not good. But the other thing is also, like you said, all of the variables that you cannot train at the range. You cannot train just like having mock-up targets, you know, and someone shooting towards you. Because a couple of things that I did today, I really tried to use your advice to, when I shoot someone, you know, keep the gun on them still. So if it's a confirmed kill, we have it on camera, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very specific.
Yeah.
It was really hard to do because I popped up, had just a second to shoot, and then I had to go back. Otherwise, you know, you just get like a hail of bullets, well, BBs. And yeah, you have to take that into account. You know, you don't have a perfect side picture. It's very exciting. I think it like ignited a passion in me. You know?
I mean, just from looking at you, I can tell that you liked it. Like,
oh yeah,
when
I did.
you talk
I
about
did.
it, I can kind of.
I did a lot.
The questions that we have there, maybe.
We have
That
many
was a-
questions, but I have one that's not on there. Why did you stop Airsoft actually? Because when, as you said, like I see the passion, then you should do this again. But why did it stop then? Were the guns not as good back then? Or?
I know. I still remember the exact Airsoft game when I like the last one. The biggest problem was when I started this. Like Airsoft in Slovenia was very how to say, it was a very small community. Mm-hmm. The guns were really expensive. Not a lot of guns because like that was so much years ago. So when I started with some guys that were in the military, and that's a lot of stuff that I know, and a lot of passion for my tactical shooting come from there. And those guys did milsim. You didn't have a field. We had like a big patch of woods, and we had maps. And you know, it was not like one spawn here, start and just shoot each other. Mm-hmm. Like we had to, you know, like walk, be silent, you know, do the silent what are those, the signs, you know, do all the tactics, and it was like not that much of a shooting and a lot of tactics. The problem was when I think the Chinese guns became really prevalent, like those non-brand, I don't know what, like they were cheap, and you got a lot of small kids and just like random people coming to Airsoft, no gear at all, and they had like high caps, very powerful guns, and they were just shooting around. And okay, that could still be somehow, you know, like incorporated in the game, but we had like, I couldn't stand the cheaters. If I do half an hour of flanking and, you know, like sneaking around, being quiet, and then like today, I don't like to shoot on full auto if it's not necessary, and then I go up, I see the guy aiming perfectly, press the trigger, I see the BB like perfectly, like hit him, and he turns around, does not see me because I'm like very well camouflaged, and then he goes away. And like the cheating part, I think really got me. Okay, of course, it was not the only thing, but that was the last straw. The other thing was, of course, real guns. A lot of money goes into real guns, and especially to feed them. The ammunition expensive, so I had to choose, and you know, all of that then somehow led me to this. But
Now the question, do you come back?
Yes, we definitely have to come back. Also, you guys have to come to Slovenia, but also after this podcast, we have to talk about your guns. Like I really like a couple of them, and maybe we should talk about like importing into Slovenia or something.
We'll figure it out.
So you would definitely see this as helpful tool that is worth doing if you want to get good at real steel shooting.
Yes and yes. Like just if your goal is to just get better at shooting, with a proper training, Airsoft can improve a lot. I can tell you, I cannot speak about names, but I can tell you one of the best IPSC shooters in Slovenia is using actually your Airsoft gun for his training at home. So that means a lot.
That makes me happy that the best shooter, chose the
because
SSP 18.
You're a shooter, right? You probably know okay, shooting is one part, but with competition, a lot of it is also moving, aiming, reloads, manipulations, and
And it's also here getting used to when to reload, how to reload. Do I still have enough in the mag and things like that? Not to lose time on reloading when it's not necessary. But also we shouldn't run dry and Yeah, and I can see Airsoft, I mean, you just have it at home and you can shoot in your living room when you cover the TV and don't ask me how I know, because it happens.
How does the real steel community or the shooting community see Airsoft? Like, do they think it's cringe, or it's just a bunch of kids, or is it... How is it seen? Just be absolutely honest about it.
I have my own views.
Okay, before you played.
Yeah, but...
like the perspective before today.
Just looking at the community, I think it's hard to judge because, the community is very big and very diverse. I know that you have a lot of FUDs in the gun world, like older people that have like certain views about guns. I bet that they don't like Airsoft. They also don't like people dressing in uniforms and so on. But I think in recent years, let's say 3-4 years, a lot of mentality changed. One thing is maybe young people coming to shooting sports, and the other thing is also a lot of content that was done on real shooters using Airsoft for training or just for fun. I saw that Travis Haley now plays Airsoft with his son, and he's not using it like, oh, it's strictly training. No, they go to an Airsoft game to have fun, and then that changed and I think opened the mind for a lot of people. They now see it maybe as a more legit thing. When we started with our channel, right, with our Real Steel channel, and we shot with a lot of guns and everything, we got comments under our videos of people like really hating on Airsoft. So when I was replying to the comments, like I always wanted to mention that sure, real guns are okay, but you can't shoot guns. You can shoot your friends with real guns, or you can shoot them only once. But Airsoft is perfect for that, and it just depends on how you use it. You can use it for fun, for training, whatever. So
we're kind of curious to hear your opinion about products that we make, because you've been using it today, and maybe you have a completely different perspective. Because Joseph is like, he does both. Like he does real steel.
I'm the hybrid.
Yeah, he's the hybrid. I did a bit of real gun stuff. I was in the military, but since then I kind of stayed away from real guns. And all the designs that we make or at least me, I purely think about the purpose of it for Airsoft. So you were using this holster today, for example. Super quick for the audience, the way this holster works is there's a Picatinny adapter, so it works for most pistols, and we have different adapters as well. Locks in there, and now you can have lots of stuff on your pistol, and you can still holster it. Also you can holster all kinds of other stuff, like this guy right here. And Tigger was using it today. So how did that go for you?
Well, at first when you showed me the holster and put the gun on, I was like, whoa, this is really awesome, because as you can see, you can have a really tricked out gun, you have a suppressor, you can have any kind of mounted light, and this would be really cool for real steel. And then I look at it and say, oh shit, the problem is that for real steel guns, it's good to have the trigger covered, because we often holster loaded guns, and here if you accidentally press the trigger, nothing happens. The worst case, you shoot yourself in the leg with an airsoft BB.
With
it
an
hurts.
airsoft.
I was about to say.
It hurts, and that's it. But if you do that with real steel,
It hurts more.
It hurts more, and it can also end very badly. During the game, I was thinking how you could do this kind of holster, for real steel. I don't know if it can be done.
What if there's a lot of safeties on the pistol? Like if it's not a Glock, let's say it's a 1911. You have like a, the thing in the back and some safety. Would you say then it's safe enough, or no? The trigger's exposed, which is an absolute no-go.
Well, I would say just don't use this with real steel.
Yeah.
Because I'm also, from my real steel part, I'm also not fan. The trigger should be covered. Let's leave it at that. But technically speaking, would it be an option for like?
I would say it like this. Yeah, legally, definitely don't use it to real guns. So now you're covered.
That's it. Yes,
because someone will probably do it.
If somebody does
but don't do it.
Hands off. We don't care.
I was actually thinking when you said safeties and that it can fit, like you have real steel versions of what you have there. So a chassis for the Glock, I don't know, like the Micro Roni and whatever, doesn't matter. And some of these chassis actually have safeties. One of them I know that actually covers kind of like the trigger guard.
Yeah,
like this.
You flip it in or
so
down.
if you have this kind of chassis and you put this holster on, you could holster it and that should work, like by all of my logic, that should work. But otherwise, generally speaking, any holster that leaves the trigger uncovered is a big no-no. So
But let me challenge this.
Okay.
Let me challenge this, okay? If you carry an assault rifle, let's say you're a soldier, okay? You carry an assault rifle for like 3 days, you're marching through the forest. You have it on safe, but it has a round chambered and the trigger is exposed. So how is it different from this?
Usually the safeties it depends what kind of rifle. Usually the safeties on the rifles are stiffer and more secure. For example, like a couple of times that happened to me, I had a holstered gun with a safety, and just like by doing stuff and walking around, I was able to disengage the safety. Yeah, so generally speaking, this is not good for real steel.
Don't use it for real steel.
Yeah,
this came up.
But it's so interesting
Cool,
and
right?
elegant.
When we had the idea, we were like, oh, that's fucking genius. This is great. And Joseph was like, the trigger is exposed.
I'm always the pessimist when it comes to these things, but I mean, it's airsoft.
And it looks cool, it's like a fashion holster. It really shows people what you have in your holster.
Yeah, it doesn't cover the beautiful colors of the CNC
and it
parts.
shows people your flat trigger.
Also, but everything. But it should be golden, the trigger.
Exactly.
Actually, I'm thinking like, but that would not make it universal anymore. But if you had like this kind of like flap here or something,
we had this actually. We had a design for it, but then it kind of defeated the whole purpose.
Yeah.
Now you cannot have a flashlight anymore.
Exactly.
Now it's not universal anymore. So why do I even have this holster? Okay, enough about the holster. But I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
That it's not safe. What about the other things? This is, for example, something where I would say, we never designed this with the intention of it being used on a real gun. None of our stuff is. But when we were at IWA, hunters were coming to us and they were really curious about these systems. Because, super quick, these are... We also have a sniper rifle in the back. Let's see if you can get it real quick. So these are basically socks, like camouflage socks for our guns. And, they're really easy to attach. So it's all Velcro and it's kind of like laced like a shoe, when you see here. And you can attach also different camouflage that we're offering in our shop. So we have like artificial leaves, we have this raffia camo, screen camo and so on. Do you see this? I mean, you would probably not use this on the range, but could this be interesting for a real steel shooter?
Yeah, one word that is now very popular because Grantham, the RECI, the reconnaissance and stuff, like people backpacking and hiding in the woods and whatever. Also now it's very popular to paint your gun in camo pattern. I don't know, I don't like that that much, but this kind of thing would definitely be useful. Like if you're an actual soldier or like a hunter maybe, if this covers only the parts of the gun that are unimportant. For example, here you don't have a moving slide. But if this would be an AK or whatever, has a moving slide and has like the opening where it has to eject shell casings.
You have a malfunction, right?
Yeah, if this would be over it, you would have a malfunction. But if you can, somehow work around that, that would be really good.
AR-15 cover.
That would work with a real gun.
No, because we made the opening only to adjust the hop-up for Airsoft. But there is nothing preventing us from making it bigger.
Or you just cut it. Just cut it. It would be the same here. The ejection port is, right there. So it would jam, but nothing stops you from just cutting it off. That would be it.
Well, why I see this as so great is because if you're serious about camouflage, this is way better than just like painting your gun. Okay, I get it if you want to paint your gun just so your gun looks cool. But if you want to paint your gun to camouflage it, this is better. Because it breaks up the shape of your gun, like the straight surfaces. It breaks up the shape of your scope, because here, this is a scope, this is an LPVO. And you can barely notice it because of the leaves and everything. So for camouflaging, this is really great.
This is really gay.
It's not gay. Maybe if it would be pink, but it's really great. The only reason that I see people not using it that if they won't need it. Like I said, for a range, if you come with a gun, if you bring this to a range, people will look at you like you're an idiot. But for hunting,
I have one more thing to add. I've been keeping it. The question if this is interesting for real steel guys, independent of each other. 2 of the guys from the Czech military contacted me recently if this would fit for the brand which is issued in the Czech military. I think probably yes, because they independently of each other. They don't they are not from the same unit or anything like that. They asked me if this would be an option. There is probably
recon, snipers, spotters. The guys that use maybe not even sniper rifles, but they use like as a backup normal rifles, they have to camouflage it. So yeah, why not? Like it works.
Manta, what about the P90? You played with it.
I played with it
the whole day.
Yeah,
what do you think about it?
It's really great. For today it was way better than the AR because it's smaller, it's lighter, and it's like way easier to go around the corners with it and like move on the ground and everything. So yeah, this was a lot better than the first round we did with an AR.
It's a kind of gun that when you look at it, you just go like, what the fuck? Like the guy who designed it was drunk or what? But then you use it and it's wow.
The reloads are a bit...
Yeah, that's kind of drunk, yeah.
a bit weird, but yeah. All in all, it's really great. You just have to be careful not to shoot your fingers off, right?
Wow. Who did it today? Someone did it,
right? One of you guys.
Wow.
Yeah. And before that, it was one of our guys.
Yeah. So on the P90, disclaimer for the people who don't understand what we're talking about. Can I have it? If there's no suppressor on it, it's very tempting to put your hand here, right in front of the muzzle. And you see a guy and you go like, ah! And you shoot yourself right in the finger. Which, on an airsoft, it's kind of a warning of, be careful where you put your hands. But if this is a real P90, and I shot a real P90, and when the guy gave it to me, it was one from a guy from the Austrian military. The first thing he said is, do not put your fingers in front of this thing. Like, this is your hard barrier. Like, whatever you do not put your hands in front of this thing. Yeah.
And now we know why.
Yeah.
Because
that's why there's a press on there, so you can use it like this.
In my airsoft career, I've seen it total of 4 times now.
Yeah.
Total of 4 times that people shot themselves in the finger because the P90 is just so short, so compact, that everybody who's used to something longer will just reach for the end of the ends and just shoot himself.
It's if they are not, like just to grab it.
I think if the guys are not used to it, because I shot even with a real one, and I'm very mindful where I put my hands and my fingers with real guns. I played also with the P90 today, and this was very uncomfortable for me. Mm-hmm. It's too short. I didn't want to do this, so I did this, but I never went in front. Robert, our friend, he had one without the silencer.
A painful learning
and he
experience.
put his finger in front of the barrel and shot. He learned quickly, but what I wanted to say is
better to discover with an airsoft gun.
Then lose your finger with a real one.
Yeah, very true.
Sorry, I interrupted your thought process.
Yeah, you did.
Sorry.
I forgot.
Well,
I forgot.
not much I can do now.
Next question?
Next question, I guess.
Plate carrier.
Oh yeah.
Manta, you used the plate carrier. This is also, for the camera and for the audience, this is by no means designed for real steel plates. By no means. It's actually the opposite, because we put plates in there which wouldn't protect you whatsoever from a bullet, because it looks like this. But how was it for you to play with this?
Well, wait, we have to explain why. Why? Because if you are a real steel, you're like, why the
fuck would you do this?
Come on, are you stupid, man?
Troll. Okay, the idea is ventilation. Because in Airsoft we want to have a plate carrier that looks like a real plate carrier, but there's a mesh and you can see through it. I don't know if you can see it right now, but this is see-through completely. You have mesh on the inside, mesh on the outside, and you have...
Maybe now.
Maybe not.
Can see.
And you have venting channels all along here, which means you can wear something that looks cool, like a real plate carrier, but you're not sweating like in a real plate carrier. And it's light.
It's basically cheating.
Yeah, it's basically
It's cheating.
is.
You look cool, but you don't have any of the hassle as if you would have a real plate carrier with
this
real plates.
reminds me of a super quick story. When I was at my first milsim, I saw a guy with like a massive backpack. And at Border War, this is how the game is called, you can use your backpack as cover. It's actually allowed, yeah. So he had this like massive backpack, and he got into contact. It was like contact, and he threw his backpack, and man, he just threw like 10 meters because it was so light. He just stuffed it with styrofoam, so it's like this big. So basically, has this cover on him. Just contact through the backpack and got behind it. So
Awesome.
as pathetic as this might look, there's way more pathetic stuff in Airsoft. Anyways, what do you think about the carrier?
The plate carrier is great. I didn't have any complaints.
Yeah?
Yeah, the quick release system and everything really works well. I didn't have any troubles with it. I had this one and the other one with the P90 mag carriers, and everything worked fine. The mags are obviously like really weird for the
Really
P90s,
awkward, yeah.
so it's like a big problem to put them in, especially if you're in a hurry and under a lot of adrenaline, as I was.
People shooting at you.
Yes, and you try to run away and then you get hit and everything. It's just...
What do you think, like functionality-wise, quality-wise, looks, feels? Would you say this is comparable to a real steel carrier, or do you think it's two different worlds?
It's just as a real steel one. It's just.
That's nice to hear. Doug would love to hear this, our textile guy.
Oh, he will.
He will probably hear it.
But even though you want to look cool, why are you wearing a plate carrier without plates? You know, you should.
We have plates.
wearing.
We have
It looks like it has a plate.
Yeah,
That's
but it should weigh 10 or more kilos, you know.
No, because
if
that
it's
makes
a
it
real
slower.
one. You want to recreate everything, right?
Remember
so
your sore
recreate
legs?
this with the weight.
Next time she's getting real
Then-
plates.
Then it's just a mag carrier.
Good point.
To be honest, I changed my opinion, but this was my opinion yesterday. When you showed me this, like I said, sure, it's genius, it breathes, but it's not a real plate. And then why wear a plate carrier on Airsoft that's made for Airsoft with like this kind of ventilation plates? I just, for me, the point of the plate carrier are the plates, because they protect you, right? But on Airsoft, if you think about it, you don't really need protection. Like I thought that yesterday. Today, I got shot a couple of times in the plate carrier from very close range. It did not hurt. I could hear it, and just called a hit and went out. And I think about it like, this is cool. It has.
I thought you were about to bash it completely.
No,
Thank you so much.
it actually has the like the point. Because like you said, okay, sure, some people want to look cool. Yeah. No problem with that, understand that. But that would be like, that was contrary to my, thinking. But today I saw like, this protects your body, because Airsoft can really hurt, especially the CQB, what we did like very up close. Someone is on the next side of the door, you have to peek and you get hit, and it does help. And it's very breathable. And actually, okay, you know, like if I would put real plates in this one, it will not be that breathable, right?
Not
Exactly, yeah. But we were actually discussing with Matej and me the design that you did. So the plate carries here, but the plate is on the outside. I actually want this in an actual plate carrier. Because this kind of design helps you put the plates outside of your body. It does not push them towards it, and it doesn't create pressure points. Because my plate carrier, you know, when I'm wearing it a long time, it really starts to push on my chest and like all of the areas there, and it's not pleasant. This, I think, would work great. Also, like, I thought that the buckles here will actually impede on the shouldering of my rifle. I didn't even notice it. So I don't know. Maybe I would have to try it on the range shooting properly, you know, with recoil and everything. But for me, it actually worked really well. So.
But many recent plate carriers have buckles on the shoulder straps, right?
Yeah.
But it's new buckles. They're really cool.
Oh,
they're magnetic. Did you notice that they're magnetic?
I did. Yeah. So if I show it for the camera, I use it a lot today. So it's very easy because you just put them together and they click, and it's simple and fast.
It's actually unbelievable how many times you go in and out of the gear in Airsoft game, right? Like you use it a lot.
Because you want to stop dying at the break and.
You just kind of want to get out of everything, like
everything
okay,
off, the mask off.
I need to sit down and chill.
Like
that was the plate carrier, but we have a couple of more products that are kind of unique to Airsoft, I would say. And one of them is amplifier. I noticed that yesterday, when we mentioned amplifier, you were like, huh? What? For the viewers, amplifier in Airsoft is something like this that has like conical shape on the inside, and it amplifies the sound that the replicas make, because sometimes we want to be loud and we want to get closer to real steel. I mean, it's the point, right? So this makes the pistol, for example, louder instead of quieter as the suppressor over there. What is your thought on this? And does something like this maybe even exist in real steel? Or do you see maybe a purpose for this?
Can I see it? Okay, well, so this makes it louder. I don't think there's an actual product that advertises to make your gun louder in real steel, but you have some muzzle devices that are conically shaped like this.
It's to direct the blast forward, right?
Pretty much, yeah, and I guess for the guy that's in front of the gun, it makes it louder. Well, actually, at first it sounds...
technically it's the same, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Technically.
It just directs the sound.
These devices in real steel, is it to protect your teammates from your blast if you have like a huge break?
Oh, this one would definitely do that, yeah. For also, as a loudener, I would say a compensator on a real gun is a loudener for people around you.
Yes,
exactly. But if you choose something like this for real steel, is it to protect your teammates, or is it actually meant to put more loudness down the range?
No, nothing with loudness. It's just like, yeah, if someone would put something like this, so conically shaped device on a gun, there are two things. One is trying, to reduce the muzzle blast for your teammates, and the other one also, this kind of muzzle device can push a lot of the gases forward. So, for example, if you're prone position firing, it does not kick up the dust so much.
Okay.
But one thing that, first when he said louder, it sounded really stupid. But like my next thought was, today I noticed the sounds of my enemy's guns. Some people were using, I guess, like gas guns, and they were louder. They had a distinct sound, and I noticed that I was more afraid of those, than the electric ones. I don't know if they were more powerful. Just like it has a psychological effect.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah. Like today when I shot with your SSP-18 in a chassis.
This had it on actually.
Oh,
this had it on.
Like I could see when I was shooting at people, like this gun doesn't have the range as the P90, you know, like it has a small barrel, and I think it's a bit less powerful than the P90, but like it had more effect on people. Like when I put it in full auto, like people hid behind cover. So that was fun. Yeah, I noticed it. So this was on the gun?
It was on the gun. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Nice.
Okay, well, enough of the amplifier. Louder, yes.
Yeah.
Here we have a suppressor that was developed for our rifles, and it uses a flash hider that has kind of a different attachment system. We also have it here on the SSR90, so you can kind of try to kind of fiddle around with it and tell us what you think.
It has a push button, turn unit. Ah, okay.
So you kind of have to hold it and then you can unscrew it. And now you can just put it on.
It has a nice ring to it. Let's try this one. Is it the same?
Yeah, you can just push it and just turn a couple of times.
Oh, so do I have to press this?
No, you don't.
Ah.
More.
And it's on there.
Well, if this kind of system, if you would have it for real guns, this would make a lot of sense. Like all of the suppressors that I have right now, they're just direct thread. So you have to like screw them on slowly on the gun.
And you have to take the flash out off, right?
Yeah, you do. But this
Which
kind
sucks,
of combination, it does. Like it takes a lot of time, and then if you want to do competition and you have to unscrew the silencer, put the muzzle brake on, and so on. This would work really great. I know some companies, like real steel companies, do this kind of thing, like quick detaches, but they're very expensive.
You would be surprised, but it's actually inspired by Realism.
Oh, really?
It's inspired by Realism design. It's not exactly the same, but the concept of you have to press a button and it clicks does
in the
exist.
end, most
I think
of the things are
it was
inspired by Realism.
Of course.
We do the same thing, or we try to imitate the same thing. So
That's the point.
Does this actually work for airsoft?
of course it's filled with foam. So
Oh, I see.
here I got another
Plastic
suppressor, but it is exactly the same thing. So when I open it, we have foam inside, acoustic foam, which absorbs the noise that the gun makes, really. So this is kind of how it
So
works.
it actually is a suppressor. Yeah.
Yeah.
For airsoft.
It's just not, there are no baffles as you know it, but there are baffles as we know it.
Yeah,
in a
and baffles
different-
from foam. Like
Yeah.
I guess this works. My question would be, what would happen if I would put this on a real gun?
Well, what I think, it's steel.
Oh, this is steel?
It's machine steel, yeah.
It's machine steel, yes.
And it's blued. So honestly, it's manufactured just like a real one. But it's not intended to be used on a real one.
So don't do it.
Have you tried it
Don't
yet,
do it,
maybe?
okay?
Have you
I
tried?
cannot confirm nor deny this statement.
You know, because we have a gun
The thread is
YouTube
different,
channel,
right?
and
Not on everything.
Okay.
I'm known for trying stupid shit with guns, so...
It's a 14 by 1 negative. I think it doesn't fit most guns.
Oh, it does. Like that's AK. 14 by 1 left thread.
say
That's AK. What caliber is this? More than 6 millimeters.
No.
Is it more?
No, it's less. It's 4 millimeters.
Maybe we'll try it.
Just to see.
Don't try it at home. It's
Okay, let's
for
stop the
airsoft.
podcast right
Yeah,
here.
it's good enough.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Crazy laboratory.
So this was
right?
part 1 of the Norwich Polena Tactical podcast, and we're gonna continue on part 2. So if you want to check that out, you can find the link in the description. It's gonna head over to their channel, but it's gonna link you there. And yeah, they will have some questions for us that are quite challenging, I think, because I already saw some of them. Yeah, thanks for joining, and check out all the other podcasts that we have, and see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.